Hey guys, this is Auty Brooks coming at you today with another whiteboard video, and this one is about how to set up and progress anaerobic training. All right, so let's get into it. The first thing that you're going to have to do is select a modality. Modality just the type of exercise you're going to do. For example, biking, running, swimming, or any stationary machine. Now, I prefer monostructural style activities. This is compared to circuit training, for example. You can certainly use circuit training as an anaerobic modality. It works quite well. However, when it comes to progressing it over a period of time, it's challenging because there's more moving pieces. If you use multiple exercises and different exercises each and every time, those different exercises are going to have a slightly different effect on the body, and so sometimes it's difficult to manipulate the other variables when you have too many things changing. So for this video, I'm going to suggest just picking one modality, bike, run, swim, stationary bike, anything that you like there. And then from there, let's shift over to my second point here. We're going to talk about work intervals. So when selecting a work interval for anaerobic training, from what you learned in previous videos, you'll understand that there are around 10 to 90 seconds of work. Anything longer than that, you're going to start getting into an aerobic zone. So you would simply select a work interval of 10 to 90 seconds, okay? The next step you would do in setting this program up is to select a rest interval. Now, based on fitness, the rest is going to be different. General rule is going to be rest long enough to recover your heart rate by about 50% of your max heart rate, or until you can carry on a normal conversation. See, the key here is that you recover almost fully from your anaerobic interval so as that you can always engage your next work interval from an anaerobic place. If your rest is too short, then the accumulation of work rest over the period of the workout is going to end up putting you in an aerobic zone. See, you simply can't recover enough from the work interval if it's too short to keep it anaerobic for the full program. So rule of thumb is to recover as long as you need to get to 50% of your max heart rate, or until you can hold the conversation, okay? Excellent. Let's move into point number 3. The effort that you're going to use, depending on the duration, is going to be different. Think about this. If you have a 10-second work duration, the effort, the how hard you can drive the bike or how hard you can sprint is going to be considerably different than if you were doing a 90-second work interval. It's clear that you wouldn't be able to hold 10-second effort for a 90-second interval. So that's important, because if you end up going out too hard too fast on that 90-second work interval, you're not going to be able to sustain that effort throughout the duration. So one must modulate your effort so as to maintain the same effort for the duration of the work interval. So you kind of have to like gear up or down depending on how long your work interval is, okay? It takes a few workouts to kind of dial that in for the duration you've selected. And then finally, the last variable here is your total volume. This is going to be how many sets of that work rest interval you perform. Generally, 8 to 12 sets is a good place to kind of work within. All right, here's an example. Now, here's how to progress the program. Basically, it's increasing work duration or decreasing rest. And then over sort of the grand scheme of things, slowly increasing total volume. One way we can do that is to modulate the rest work interval. So if we look over to my final point here, this is a basic example of how you would modulate work rest interval, increase work duration, decrease rest duration. So what I've got written here is a ratio of work to rest. In this first one, we've got a 1 to 3 work to rest. An example in terms of the time would be 15 seconds of work, followed by 45 seconds of rest. From there, you would progress by simply decreasing the rest, increasing the work. So a 1 to 2 would be like a 20-second work to a 40-second rest, then down to a 1 to 1, 30-second work, 30-second rest. Then we're going longer duration in the work interval. A 2 to 1 would look like a 1-minute work to a 30-second rest. And then finally, a 3 to 1 would be something like a 45-second work to a 15-second rest. So that gives you a basic outline of how you would progress anaerobic training. Now look later this week for an example program using this exact method of progressing. Okay, and then finally, just a quick note on how to progress volume. Start with something like 8 sets, and then every month you're doing the program, tack another set onto that, increase the total volume, and you've got yourself a little anaerobic program. So hopefully that was helpful. See you guys in the next one.